Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Stitch 1993 here again with another list going. Today we're looking at the top 10 underrated Christmas movies slash specials. I said movies slash specials because some of these are too short to be considered a movie, but not all of them are specials. So that's why we get the hybrid in the title there. We'll go ahead and start off with number 10, Santa Claus the movie. Made in 1985, starring Dudley Moore, John Lithgow, and David Huddleston. No, this is not the Santa Claus with an E by Disney. It was made almost a decade prior. The movie did bomb at the box office, but it's kind of started getting a cult following, and it follows the plot for the first act at least of Santa Claus, how he becomes Santa Claus, the elves and how they make toys. And because this is an 80s film, just everything is all fully designed. Like there's no CGI or anything. It's all practical effects and practical sets. The elves are not really little. They're just kind of shorter than Dudley Moore. But it's still just wonderful to look at. The second act is kind of weird because then it stops in the 1980s, or by that time present day, and it's about a homeless boy and this girl that he likes that's rich, and one of the elves feels like he's not needed anymore, so he leaves the North Pole and goes to the United States, goes to New York, I believe, to help out this business toy manufacturer that's just been in the hole making all these really bad toys. And so the elf helps him by making it's not even really a toy, it's candy that can help people fly. Then Santa finds out and the poor boy gets in trouble, so Santa has to go and save the day. John Lithgow makes a wonderful, just sleazy bad guy, and I love it. And Dudley Moore is probably one of the better Santa Clauses ever seen on screen. So I'm not sure if it's on any streaming service, but you can definitely find it on DVD, and I highly recommend checking it out. Number 9, VeggieTales Episode 6, The Toy That Saved Christmas. This one is the first VeggieTales that was just the full 30 minutes. Usually before then, it was 2 shorter stories with a silly song in between. Of course, there is still the silly song, but then the story continues after that, and it is about a toy company that makes the toy of the time. You can relate this to Furby, Beanie Babies, Cabbage Patch Kids. Really, insert famous popular toy of the year in there, and that is what that toy is supposed to be. But one of the toys suddenly becomes sentient and realizes that this probably isn't healthy for either himself or the kids or their families. And so with the help of Bob and Larry and the others, the Save Christmas is just a cute VeggieTales video, and I would highly recommend checking it out. Number 8, The Tangerine Bear. The overall plot is a teddy bear, while on conveyor belt, gets his mouth sewn upside down, so he has a constant frown, and because of that, he never gets bought and eventually ends up in this little secondhand shop along with some other toys that are broken for one reason or another. It's wonderfully animated. It's just a nice, calm Christmas film. Not too loud. It's also something you can play in the background and still come to it. The voice acting is top tier. We've got Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Jenna Elfman, Howie Mandel, David Hyde Pierce, and others. And they all do a great job of just portraying the toys and the other characters. And this is just such a fun, wonderful little movie to just get you in the Christmas spirit. Number 7, The Lemon Drop Kid, a 1951 American comedy film starring Bob Hope. It's an interesting one, and based on the title, you wouldn't think this was a Christmas movie, and it doesn't really start out as a Christmas movie. It just starts out as the Lemon Drop Kid, aka Bob Hope, betting on some horses, and he doesn't win, so then he has to pay this guy a whole bunch of money, and he has a specific time to do so, and for a while he doesn't know how to get the money, until he starts seeing that the Salvation Army Santas lining up and asking for donations, and that's where he gets the idea to scam people out of money. But in the end, he decides that isn't really the best thing to do, and he helps with getting the money used for a retirement home. And of course, the mobster and his hooligans get their comeuppance eventually at the end. The one really interesting thing about this film is this was the film that introduced the song Silver Bells.
Holiday style, in the air there's a feeling of Christmas.
Yeah, that Silver Bells. This is the first time that song was introduced. I did not know until I started doing research for this movie that this was the first time anybody heard that song. It's sung wonderfully, and it's just really interesting to find out that this Christmas classic song that everybody's heard of started in this movie that probably very few have heard of. So I'm not sure if it's streaming, but you can definitely find it on DVD and definitely give it a check out, even if it's just to see the first time anybody heard the song Silver Bells. Number 6, All of the Other Reindeer. Made in 1999 for television with the help of Matt Groening, that Matt Groening. This is a 2D animated film. However, it was all animated in CGI, so it's got a really interesting artistic style. It's based on the book of the same name. I have the book. They just copied the art style perfectly, I feel like. It's about a dog named Olive, and she hears on the radio that Santa's not feeling well, and the flea that is her friend, pet, roommate, I don't know what the relationship is, but what Santa says is he'll need help from all of the other reindeers, just like the song, but the flea interprets it that he says he needs all of the other reindeer. And Olive is already having some issues trying to fit in as a dog, and the flea, in so many words, convinces her that maybe she isn't a dog, maybe she is a reindeer, and she should go to the North Pole to help out Santa. This is not the only character that has a pun. We also have Young John Virgin, Richard Stan, and many others. And there's also a lot of visual puns as well. It's got a great cast with Drew Barrymore, Edward Asner, Dan Castanella, and so many more doing they're all just putting in their best for these characters. And the music is great. I get these songs stuck in my head every time I watch this movie. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere, but you can definitely check it out on DVD. Number 5, Joyeux Noel, 2005 war drama based on the actual Christmas truce that happened in December 1914 during World War I. If you don't know the Christmas truce story, it's about the French, the German, and the Dutch, who are all at war with each other, but they all decide to do a ceasefire for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then they end up not wanting to fight anymore after that. It's wonderfully acted. This is one of the earlier films starring Daniel Bruhl, which many will eventually know as Zemo from the Avengers movies, and he does a really good job. Everybody does a really good job in this film. I try to watch this one around Christmas Eve, leading up to Christmas, because it's just a wonderful, because it is a real life story, it's just wonderful of what we all try to think of the true meaning of Christmas is set aside differences to celebrate, and it's just something we should be doing every day, not just around Christmas time. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere, but definitely give this one a check out on DVD. Number 4, The Christmas Toy. Jim Henson Entertainment production, made for television, 1986. It's about a toy that is fearing the inevitability that he will be replaced by another toy when Christmas comes around. So he sneaks off to try to replace the new toy with himself, so that the kid will just open him again on Christmas morning and still be in love with him. yeah, it kind of has the same plot almost as Toy Story, even coming down to the toy that is supposedly going to replace Rugby Tiger being a space toy. This time it's a female called Meteora, but it's, yeah, I'm sure that if you asked anybody uh, at Pixar, they may deny it, but I feel like they may have gotten a couple of ideas from this film. Of course, it's a Jim Henson production, so the puppeteering is A plus, top tier. The voice cast, of course, some of them you'll recognize as other Muppet voices, but they all do a great job. And the toys are all really creative. I remember just first time I watched this wanting some of these toys because they look so cool to play with. But this one, I think, has a couple different versions to it. I know there's some scenes edited out, but if you can find the one that has the introduction and the ending with Kermit the Frog, because he kind of gives some insight into the toys before the film starts. The songs are really earwormy, and they even do a Together at Christmas, which has been kind of a staple in a lot of the Jim Henson Muppet films prior to this. I don't think this has ever been on streaming, and I don't even really know who owns the rights to this anymore. I don't think it's Disney. They did have later a spin-off television series just kind of based around the toys that did get a DVD release. However, I think this was only ever released on VHS. Number 3, another Jim Henson classic, this time Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, a 1977 TV special based on the book by the same name. This story is just a very down-to-earth story about Emmett Otter, who is very poor and lives with his mom, and they're trying to make do with Christmas, and they find out that there's a talent show that will pay $50 to the winner, and Emmett wants to get his mom a piano for Christmas, and his mom wants to get Emmett a guitar for Christmas, but neither one has the money for those type of presents, and so they both end up having to destroy one of the more needed items that they use to make money for enter into the talent contest. Of course, with this being Jim Henson, as I said before with the Christmas toy, the puppeteering is top notch. The voices, you'll recognize some of them, but they're all still really great. The ending is, in my opinion, a bit bittersweet. They don't win. Neither one of them win the talent contest. And it makes sense once you see who they lose to. But they eventually do get some sort of consolation prize with a new job. Thankfully, because after that day, they wouldn't either be able to do their old jobs because they weren't able to get the items back for either one way or another that they used to get into the show. This, I don't believe, is on any streaming service, but they did recently release a new special edition version of it that includes the Kermit scenes, so I definitely recommend checking this one out. Number 2, Martin the Cobbler. This is based off the short story by Russian author Leo Tolstoy, Where Love Is, God Is, animated by Will Vinton, and narrated by, I believe it's Leo Tolstoy's daughter. This was made in 1977, and it's just a nice, heartwarming story about a cobbler named Martin who hates God because of all the bad things that have happened in his life. But he has a dream that God will visit him the next day, so he tries to be on his best behavior, and everyone that passes by his door, he tries to help out in one way, shape, or another, even if they don't ask for the help right away. But it's wonderfully animated. It's got a nice story, a nice moral as well, and a very interesting ending also. It's been released a couple times on DVD with other Will Vinton collections, and I don't know if it's on streaming, but I believe it's on YouTube, so do go and check it out. And number 1, Another Will Vinton production, this time Will Vinton's Clamation Christmas Celebration, or as I like to just call it, the Clamation Christmas. It's a television special made in 1987 starring Rex and Herb and other stop motion Will Vinton characters, all singing classic Christmas carols. We've got We Three Kings, Carol of the Bells, Oh Christmas Tree, Angels We Have Heard a High, and a performance of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by the California Raisins, all through an overarching story of Rex trying to find out the meaning of the word wassail from the song Here We Come a Wassailing. And every time they come back, there's somebody else singing it in a different, wrong way. And it just gets on Rex's nerves. And it's just so fun to watch him just get so almost unhinged on everybody's reactions to the songs. But I highly recommend checking it out. It is on DVD, and at the time of this recording, you can check it out on YouTube. So those are my top 10 what I feel underrated movies and Christmas specials to watch. What are some of your favorite Christmas movies, television specials, shorts that you like to watch around this time of year? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.